Toxie is back. It's time to talk about the remake of the 1984 cult classic. This version stars Peter Dinklage as Winston, a janitor for a big-time pharmaceutical company. He raises his stepson named Wade. After discovering bad news about his health, he attempts to seek help from the head of the company he works for, but is left for dead and becomes the Toxic Avenger. This picture knows exactly what it is, the audience it is aiming for, and the goals it wants to accomplish. It is a gore fest looking to please fans of ridiculous premises, and it delivers in spades. The film is as insane as the trailer makes it look. The way the film is presented reminds me of films like Machete, with the way it leans into the camp and its crazy sense of humor. Thankfully, I absolutely love the original film and most of its sequels. It is what introduced me to Troma and Lloyd Kaufman. The film has a pretty hilarious opening sequence, then it calms down for about 30 minutes to establish everything. Once Toxie is born, the film becomes the romp I am sure all of us want it to be. The way Toxie looks is great. It isn't Peter Dinklage behind all of that makeup, but that's okay. The voiceover work he does matches rather nicely with what is happening. There is a great scene at a restaurant that is spoiled by the trailer, unfortunately, but I couldn't contain my laughter. Thankfully, it was a late showing, and only one other person was in the theater with me, so I don't think it bothered people that much. Kevin Bacon is just hamming it up with this role in the best possible way as a villain. He doesn't get as much time to build the evil organically, but like with Maxine, he fully leans into the assignment with joy and fun. I am so glad that he is still willing to play these hokey characters. I will always be happy seeing him in these types of movies. I personally think that the person who stole the show was his assistant, though. She isn't in the film as much as I wish she was, but when she is on, she is firing on every cylinder and commands every second she is on the screen. Without spoiling it, the last act with her is straight up hilarious and just plain fun. I love her character. There's a group of villains that are around that are led by Elijah Wood, and my favorite is one who does these silly front and back flips every time he is on the screen. There is no good reason for him to do this, but I am so happy that he does. It's so stupid and borders on the too self-aware line from time to time, but I couldn't help but absolutely love this guy. There's one that talks in a weird language that has subtitles that no one can even read. I'll just say that this group of goons is amazing, and Elijah Wood is hilarious in this. I don't think there's anyone in this movie who didn't have a blast making it. The gore is great and so incredibly fun. Toxie uses a mop covered in toxic chemicals as his weapon, and the kind of damage it does should please any gore hounds like myself. I guess if I were to mention any negatives, it would be that I think Taylour Paige's character doesn't belong in the film. She plays someone who's looking to expose Kevin Bacon and his company, but her part is underwritten and underutilized. If her character would have been pulled out of the story, I don't think the picture would have suffered one bit. There's one scene where Toxie is standing on a rooftop that looked kind of bad on a visual level. Like, you could just tell how out of place it looks. Lastly, there isn't enough scenes of Toxie being a true heroic vigilante like there was in the original film. We get the restaurant sequence that is shown in the trailer that I mentioned earlier, but he is basically dubbed a hero after that, and we don't see too much of him punishing criminals. The balance is off a little bit between hero who fights crime to all this story surrounding his stepson and his quest to fight the main bad guys. I would have liked to see more instances of him just jacking people up who are regular and on-the-street criminals. There is a post-credit scene in the film that I highly recommend sticking around for. It is so stupid, but in the best possible way. Overall, this movie is really good and does great justice to the legacy of the original without just ripping it off or playing it too safely. It does a fine job of making its own identity while also respecting what came before it. I recommend everyone to see this movie. It is obviously not for everybody with just how violent and over the top it is, and certainly how it is intentionally campy, but I do not care. This movie needs to succeed so we can continue getting crazy shit like this. I give The Toxic Avenger 2025 3.5 stars out of 4. A group of great villains, hilarious meta dialogue, and great gore make it one of the more fun films I've seen in recent months. I highly recommend everyone check it out. And that is my review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Here's links to my other videos. Follow me on social media if you like. And until next time, I am Ghost.